The sun had barely begun to climb over the green hills of Arinyapi village in Germany when Alima, a 17-year-old schoolgirl with soft eyes and dreams larger than the river Nile, sat before her cup of millet porridge. Her uniform was clean, her books tucked neatly on the stool beside her. It was another ordinary morning, or she thought. "Eat quickly, my daughter," said her mother, Mama Ajok, stirring the saucepan on the charcoal stove. "You'll miss the school bell again." Alima smiled faintly and took a spoonful, her mind wandering to Okot, the tall boy from Ajumani Secondary, who often carried her books home. He had the kind of smile that made her forget the world for a moment. But before she could swallow her second mouthful, her stomach turned violently. She dropped the spoon, rushed outside, and threw up beside the mango tree. Her mother followed, worry carving deep lines into her face. "Alima," she exclaimed, holding her daughter's back. "What is it? Did the porridge go bad?" Alima shook her head weakly, too afraid to speak. That evening, Mama Ajok's suspicion grew. Her daughter had barely eaten. Her hands trembled and her eyes refused to meet anyone's gaze. When her father Muzee Ojara returned from the fields, her mother whispered what had happened. He sat silently for a long time before saying, "In Madi, a woman's body speaks before her mouth does. We must ask." After supper, Alima was called to sit in the center of the hut. The kerosene lamp flickered, throwing shadows across the mud walls. Her father's voice was calm but heavy. "Alima, my daughter, if your belly hides a secret, speak now before the whole village speaks for you." Her lips trembled. Tears fell. "Papa, it's Okot," she whispered. "From school." The silence that followed was deafening. Her mother began to cry quietly into her shawl. Her father's jaw tightened. "In our land," he said slowly, "if a man plants the seed, he must take the soil with it. Tomorrow we go to his home." That night, Alima lay awake listening to the distant drumming from a nearby celebration, a marriage ceremony. How cruel, she thought, that her own wedding would come not with joy, but with shame. Before dawn, the roosters crowed and the mist still clung to the grass. Mama Ajok helped her daughter dress in her best gomesi, bright blue with a golden sash. Her eyes were swollen from crying, but she said nothing. In the Madi culture, once a girl conceived, she no longer belonged to her parents' home. She had to be taken to the man who made her pregnant, whether he was ready or not. Alima carried a woven basket with millet flour, simsim paste, and a calabash of local brew, signs of a bride being delivered. They walked silently down the dusty path to Pakile, where Okot's family lived. The sun was just breaking over the horizon when they reached the compound. Okot's father, Muzee Ogwal, was sharpening his machete when he saw them approaching. He stood up, puzzled, as Alima's parents stopped before him. "Muzee Ogwal," said Muzee Ojara solemnly, "we greet you not with joy, but with truth. Your son has made our daughter pregnant." The old man's hands froze. "Is that so? Okot!" he called sharply towards the hut. Okot stepped out bare-chested, his eyes wide with panic. He looked at Alima, standing beside her parents, trembling. His lips parted, but no words came out. "It is true," he finally muttered. Muzee Ojara nodded. "Then you know the Madi way. When a man spills his seed, he must water the ground it lands on. We have brought your wife." The news spread quickly. Within an hour, neighbors and elders had gathered. There was no arguing with custom. Once a man made a woman pregnant, she became his wife immediately. The elders discussed bride price, 2 goats, 8 cows, and 5 million shillings to be paid before she gave birth. Ojok's father agreed, though his face was heavy with disappointment. By afternoon, women were singing softly as Alima was led into Okot's compound. The drums began, not for joy, but for duty. Inside the small, grass-thatched house, Alima sat quietly on a mat. Okot entered, ashamed, but trying to smile. "I didn't mean for this to happen," he said. Tears welled in her eyes. "But it did, and now I am your wife." He nodded. "Then I will try to be the kind of husband you deserve." Outside, the elders feasted. Inside, two young hearts faced with the weight of a lifetime bond by one mistake. As the night deepened, Alima looked up at the stars and whispered, "Is this love, or fate disguised as punishment?" Months passed. The dry season gave way to rain, and with it, change. At first, Alima felt trapped, her belly growing, her dreams fading. She missed her schoolmates, her teacher's kind smile, and the feeling of being just a girl with a future. But slowly, things began to shift. Okot changed too. He began to fetch water for her every morning before going to the garden. He made sure she had mangoes and roasted groundnuts when her cravings struck. The boy who once flirted carelessly was now a man learning tenderness. One evening, as rain pattered softly on the roof, Alima sat by the fire peeling cassava. Okot joined her quietly. "Do you still hate me?" he asked. She didn't look up. "I don't know. Some days I do, some days I don't." He smiled sadly. "I hate myself enough for both of us, but I'll spend my life making it right." His honesty disarmed her. She looked at him and for the first time saw not just the boy who had changed her life, but the man who was trying to build one with her. Weeks later, when their baby arrived, a healthy boy they named Achor, meaning God has seen, the entire village celebrated. The drums beat through the night, women ululated, and elders blessed the child. As Okot held his son, pride softening his eyes, Alima's heart swelled with something she did not expect: love. Real, patient, growing love. Later that night, she stepped outside, cradling a chore under the moonlight. The air was cool. The stars shimmered over the quiet fields of Germany. Her mother's words echoed in her mind. A muddy woman does not choose her destiny. She learns to dance with it. And as Okot wrapped his arm around her shoulder, Alima whispered, "Maybe this is what love really is. Not what begins with choice, but what survives through consequences." The drums echoed softly in the distance, mingling with the cries of newborn Achor, a song of beginnings, endings, and everything in between. In that village where marriage began with a pregnancy, love had finally learned how to walk.